monitor the using, we use this to monitor these patients. So we have the fluid, amount of fluid given, mentioned here, and then the vital parameters here. So we can get a good idea at a given time how much fluid had been given and what is the clinical status of this patient, and which facilitate and help our management of this patient. Investigations, the full blood count is a very useful investigation, but the most important investigation useful in the management is the inward or on-site hematocrit measurement. And the ultrasound examination again is very useful, as I said. Dengue antigen, the sensitivity varies. There's a big variation of the antigen from 50 to 90%. Specificity, of course, is good. Therefore, it has to be used cautiously. We should not exclude dengue with a negative antigen results. The echocardiogram, rotem, thromboelastography, platelet function test, those are not clinically useful, maybe in research, but not in clinical setup. When it comes to treatment, as we know, dengue fever, we just need only symptomatic treatment, and it lasts for 5-6 days and settles on its own. However, in DHF, when you detect plasma leakage, we have to increase the amount of fluid given, depending on the change of vital parameters, to compensate the loss, additional loss into the extravascular space due to plasma leakage. If more fluid is necessary, then toward the latter part of the critical phase, we use colloid instead of giving more crystalloids. And in patients with shock, we start with crystalloid boluses. This is how the leakage occurs, and we try to give fluid to match the plasma leakage. And the dextran 40 is the preferred colloid in dengue. We use, which is more potent than albumin or starch solution, and this is given as a bolus, not as an infusion. And the idea is to reabsorb the extravasated fluid into the intravascular compartment and replenish the intravascular volume. Blood transfusion should be considered in these conditions when there is a drop of PCV in an unstable patient, or PCV's drop is more than 10 after dextran, and patients with visible bleeding. And this has to be often given on suspicion because bleeding is often occult. Platelet transfusion, we don't recommend giving prophylactic platelet transfusions. N-acetylcysteine